Scott from driveandreview.com, coming to you from Michigan this time, Holly, Michigan to be more specific. This is my hometown, this is where I grew up, but that's not why you clicked on this video. This is a 2021 Kia Soul. I rented it out of the Detroit airport this morning. I've been driving it all morning. I put maybe about 100 miles on it so far, and I've got a lot to say. It's actually a pretty neat little car. It feels more like a truck just because it's how high it sits. If I could just say one thing about this entire experience so far, it's tall. It's a lot higher than I thought it would be, and it's kind of neat driving down the road. You know, it's not, you're not down on the ground. It's a little car. That's kind of what I was thinking it was going to be, but you're sitting pretty high up, and that's pretty neat. So anyway, this one hits kind of close to home for me because the Kia Soul is something that we are actually, as a family, thinking about replacing our Honda Fit with. I haven't really given it much thought up until this moment. I've been seeing them on the road, and I've been thinking, you know, it looks like a nice little car. It's kind of like the Honda Fit. They don't make Honda Fits anymore. Ours is in need of a replacement, and the Kia Soul seems like the next logical replacement for it, or the best logical replacement for it. And that's why I was kind of looking forward to driving this thing today. And, you know, so far, it's not as great as I thought it was going to be. Maybe I built it up in my head too much, but it does have its flaws, which I'll get to in a moment. There's a lot that I do like about it. The visibility all around is really good. It's something that we really like about our Honda Fit, and it was one of the reasons why I was so drawn to the Soul in the first place. It's very practical. There's a lot of room inside. There's a lot of room in the back. You know, it seems like it would be the perfect vehicle, especially for us. We live in Southern California, in San Diego, and parking is tight everywhere. Traffic is really bad, and, you know, a smaller car is better, and this seemed like it would be the best replacement. And anyway, I'm just going to go into all of the things that I like and I don't like about this thing. Okay, so the best way to tell you everything that I like and I don't like is to go for a drive. So let's just go cruising, and if I can figure out the seatbelt, we'll just go down the road and I can tell you exactly everything that is good and bad about this thing. You know, by the way, it doesn't have a push-button start. It's still got a key, which is kind of strange these days because most everything is all push-button now. So let's put it in drive, and we're off. You know, it's a decently handling vehicle for its size, and I was saying before, it's so upright. I was worried right off the bat that it would be a little bit tipsy and not very planted and solid around corners, but it does fine. There's no issues. And, you know, it does great on the freeway. It does fine on country back roads, and no matter what kind of road it is, it does fine. The height is not an issue at all. It's actually really nice because I like being able to see out in all directions so easily. And go here, pull out on the road, acceleration. Yeah, it's all right. I mean, it's what you would expect for a, you know, honestly, I don't know what engine is in it right now. I'll put it right here at the bottom and you can see. It's a 4-cylinder, obviously. I don't know how many liters, but it feels, I mean, for a car like this, just an entry-level SUV crossover type thing, it's fine. It'll do fine on the freeway. And actually, I drove up here from Detroit this morning, and it was fine on the freeway. I could merge with no issues. I could cruise along at 80 miles an hour, and there was no problem at all. It kept up with traffic just fine. So it's a little soft, as you might imagine, which I kind of like. It's actually softer than our Honda Fit. I never thought it was an issue, or I never thought the hard ride in our Honda Fit was an issue until I got in this, and I realized this is kind of nice. It's not a Cadillac, of course, but, you know, it does okay. And I'm adjusting the temperature here, and that's a good time to tell you that I really appreciate the fact that there are still knobs and buttons in this thing. It's not all touchscreen yet. I'm sure that's the way that it's going, but I like being able just to you know, put my hand down and fumble around a little bit and get what I want from just turning knobs, which you can't really do with a touchscreen. Overall build quality is pretty good. Sometimes when I come to a stop, there's a weird mechanical scraping noise which is coming from the right rear. I don't know what that's all about. It doesn't sound bad, but if it was my car, I'd definitely take it in to get it looked at. This car, it is a rental car. It's got 39,623 miles on it. It's a 2021, so it's been driven. I can definitely say it's holding up well for having 40,000 miles on it. It still feels like a brand new car. It still smells like a brand new car. And, you know, everything, you know, fit and finish is still fairly good. I mean, there's no rattles. Plastic panels start coming apart after a certain period of time, and this car's got 40,000 miles on it. No issues at all. It's still solid as a rock, which is really nice. Gas mileage is so-so. So, like I said, I've driven up here from Detroit this morning. I've put maybe 100 miles on it. I'm just over a half a tank right now, which is a little bit worse than what I would think it would be at. Maybe it's got a small tank. I'll write that down right at the bottom of the screen here so you can see what that is. But my first impressions was that it's sucking down gas pretty good, at least at a pretty good clip, which is something you might be concerned about. This car is also very easy to drive one-handed, which is another very good thing if you're thinking about getting a Kia Soul for a daily driver. You don't need two hands to drive it. Should have two hands to drive it. I recommend it. And yeah, even on rough roads like this, completely solid, no issues. I like it. Something that I think that I don't like so much, again, I've said this 10 times already, but I've driven up here from Detroit this morning, and about halfway through that drive, it's about an hour drive total, about halfway through that drive, my back was just starting to kill me, and I had to pull over and get some clothes out of my backpack, my travel bag, to stuff in behind the seat, and that helped, but there's no lumbar support in these seats. I know not all cars in this price range have good lumbar support. They don't have good seats in general, so not a lot to complain about there. I mean, I guess you can expect it. Okay, so now we are putting this car to the ultimate test. Going down an old dirt road. This is actually the road I used to live on. This is the road that I grew up on, and it's still a dirt road after all these years. But anyway, it's a good test for the 2021 Kia Soul. The road is kind of smooth today. Some of these back roads can get pretty bad sometimes, and this one's fairly smooth, and again, no rattles from this car at all. It's just rock solid. Okay, well, I take that back. There's a little bit of up here on the dashboard, it's rattling a little bit, but it's a dirt road. You kind of have to expect it. I didn't expect complete silence. It's handling it well. Something else that I don't like about this car, it's a little bit dated on the inside. This is a 2021 model. You wouldn't really know it by looking at the dashboard, especially the infotainment screen here. It's very, I don't know, it's very 2012. The screen is very small. It has Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, all that stuff. And, you know, it can do everything that I want it to do in terms of, you know, the technology, streaming and, you know, Bluetooth stuffs. It's got all that, but it looks dated. And some of the buttons are dated. And overall, the style on the dashboard is dated. But I appreciate how simple it is. You know, cars are getting really fancy these days. And, you know, some of the design, especially with Kia, they're getting really aggressive with their design language. I drove a Kia K5 recently, and it was a beautiful car, just all around, exterior, interior, but it looked like a spaceship. And this Kia Soul is not that. You can tell this is an older design. It's been around a while, and I suspect they'll be doing a complete redesign already if they already haven't. Like I said, I'm not an expert on Kia Souls. This isn't really my wheelhouse. I'm just doing this video as a first impressions type thing. So if you're thinking about getting one, I'm just sharing my first impressions with you, what I honestly felt getting into this for the first time. A 2021 Kia Soul. A car that I'm thinking about buying, and man, the construction around here is just... It's weird coming back to your old hometown, the place where you grew up, and looking at everything and seeing how everything has changed. It's kind of nice, but it's kind of sad as well. But okay, backseat space is good. I have no way to test out the backseat area in this drive other than just throwing my stuff back there. Rear cargo space is pretty good. It's just as good as the Honda Fit, and especially when you fold down the rear seats, it's going to be, it's going to open up that entire area. I bet you could get a couple full-size bikes back there, no issues. That would be important for me. And yeah. And can I just say something about the fall leaves? This is mid-October in Michigan, and this is peak leaf season right now. Just the yellows and the reds are amazing. So in summary, the 2021 Kia Soul, should you get one? If you're thinking about buying one used, absolutely. I mean, if it's just a daily driver, you want something really practical, something to get you from point A to point B, and you can, you can haul a lot of stuff with it. If you got a small family, absolutely perfect. However, if you're looking for something really cutting edge and stylish, something to impress your friends, this is not it. This is not it at all. Though I will say the exterior of this thing it's pretty nice. There are some neat little design details that I really like. Kia does a really good job with their exterior designs. They've been doing a good job for the past 10 years or so. And this is a somewhat dated design, but it looks really nice. The interior needs some work though. So yeah, if you're thinking about getting one, it's totally worth it. I imagine you can get a pretty good deal on one of these things. And the big question is, I told you I was thinking about getting one. Would I consider it now after driving this thing for an entire day? Actually, I would. Because I need a car kind of like the Fit. I need something small, kind of boxy, and something I can cram a lot of stuff into. And they don't make Honda Fits anymore, or they're going to stop making them soon. So the Kia Soul is probably, I don't know, I think it's top 3 on my list right now. Maybe the top, because I can't think of another one, or I can't think of another car that I would want over this right now. I'm not excited about buying a Kia Soul. I think I should just say that. I mean, it's one of those purchases where you're like, yeah, I need to get a car, but it's just, I gotta be practical about it. And that's what the Kia Soul is. So anyway, those are my first impressions. I hope you found this useful. Go out and get one. You can't go wrong. At least I don't think so. At least from what I experienced so far today. Anyway, if you want more about the Kia Soul and this experience, this drive, go over to my blog, driveandreview.com. I'm going to write up a whole pros and cons list of the 2021 Soul. So check that out if you're dead serious about getting a Soul, at least a 2021. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.